To make a vertical fence board sign, you're going to need a fence board. We cut this down to 4 feet. So this is a 4-foot fence board, and this is from a fence that blew down. You'll need your Cricut, and the material I used for the stencil was actually this heat seal thermal laminating pouches. And there's 25, but the neat thing about this is being a pouch, you can open it up and cut it. So you actually get 50 sheets. For the lettering, so that's what we use. This is what I have used to cut out the letters. You can also use cardstock. Cardstock lasts about 3 times or 3 stencil uses. This is the first time I've experimented with this material, so I am trying it because it is a plastic and it can be wiped down. What I did with the fence board, I just used some spray paint just to give it a different color, because the color blue is being used to thank our healthcare workers, so I thought blue would be appropriate. And this one is just Rust-Oleum Universal, and this one is Oasis Blue. And I actually got this from Habitat from Humanity. What I'm using to do the letters with is just a black acrylic for the lettering, and I'm also putting hearts, and I'm just using the red acrylic. I also have some stencil brushes, and I'm actually just using margarine lid to put the paint on, because when you're stenciling you want to have as little paint as possible on these brushes when you're using it, so less is more. I also have some painter's tape to put the stencils onto the board. You can also use sprayed adhesive. I don't have any, so that's why I'm using painter's tape. And it's always handy to have a Sharpie just in case you have to fix up a letter or two. So these are the materials that I have on hand, as well as the ever ready paper towel, really handy when you're doing stenciling as well. So these are the materials you're going to need to make your fence board sign. Now we're going to be making our next project, which is through Cricut Design Space. I'm going to double click on top of that and wait for it to log in. So we'll be making our vertical wooden fence thank you sign. And to do that, I need to make some stencils. So my emails are already put in, maggielovebooks@gmail.com. Now I'm putting in my password. And then left click sign in. And I'm going to maximize the window. So I'm just going to click on new project. I know I'm just going to be using text. So I'm going to left click on text, which is located on the left hand side of the canvas. Once you left click on text, you'll notice a text box will open, which says add text here, and then you'll have some text options. So I'm going to put on my cap locks because I'm going to do all these in capital letters. So I'm going to use the letter T for thank you. And now to choose my font, I'm just going to go over here where it says all, and I'm going to type in CH, and I think it is Y, and this is the font I've decided to use, which is Changa. I just like the swirls on this one. If you're looking for other fonts to stencil, I would recommend the website DaFont. It gives you all sorts of ideas and different styles of fonts as well. I'm just going to unlock this because I know that my board is 4 foot by 6 inches. So I want to make my letters 4 inches. So how to do that is you'll notice there's the lock button. Just going to left click on lock, and I'm going to go up here and you'll see size. So I'm going to put 4 inches, and we're going to change the height to 4 inches, and then press return to make sure it takes. Once it is taken, we're just going to lock it. In order to cut out a stencil, you need a border. So how do you create a border? This is when you would use your shapes. So left click right on top of shapes, and we're going to use square. And you'll see that the square is here. So I want this to be 5 inches, just a little bit smaller than the fence board. So how do you change that? Use your unlock button here in the corner, and we're going to change the size. So we're going to do 5 width and 5 height. And click to make sure it is there. Oh, you see it didn't quite change. Try that again. 5 and press enter. And now we're going to lock it so it doesn't change on us. So now I'm just going to move this on top of the T and right click and move backward. And then you can see it. What we're going to do next now is we want to center this in the square. So we just highlight it by left clicking and holding down the left mouse button so it all changes blue. And then you'll see up here, you'll see line type, fill, deselect, edit, and align. And this is where we want to go, is to align, because we want to center the T in the middle of the square. You see it has moved. Now, how do we just get that letter T? So what we're going to do is we're going to use our slicing tool, which is located under the layers. It's at the bottom. So slice is here. We're going to left click right on top of slice. And we're going to click, hold, and drag out that. And we're going to click and hold again and drag out the T. We don't need this one, so we're going to delete that one. And we're going to delete that because we just want the letter T. And we're going to do the same thing for the H. We're going to click on text. Make sure my cap lock is on. I'm going to type out H. Just going to drag it over here, unlock, and we're going to do the width. We're going to go 4 and by 4 and press enter on the keyboard to enter in that. And then we're going to lock it so it doesn't shift. Next thing we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to click on shapes, click on the square, pull the square over, and we're going to unlock the square, and we're going to make it 5 by 5. And press enter. Then we're going to lock it so it doesn't change. We're going to put it on top, and we're going to right click right on top of it, and we're going to move it behind the square, behind the H. Now that we're done, we're going to select the whole thing, and we're going to go to align because we want it centered in the middle of the square, the H. There we go, it moves. And we're going to use our slicing tool, which is at the bottom here, and left click on slice. And we're just going to pull out this one and pull out this. And since we don't need this particular, we're going to highlight it and press delete on your keyboard. That will release, delete that. And the same thing, left click on it and press delete on your keyboard. And we got the first 2 letters. Now we're going to keep on going. So that's one mat. So the TH, we're going to make the A and the N. So the same thing, A, type letter, A, unlock, gonna change the width, 4 by 4, and then press enter to make sure, lock it. Now we want to put that square because we want to cut it out. We want to have a border, so I'm going to grab my shapes again, do the same thing, click on it, unlock it, and we're going to go 5 by 5. 5, 5, and press enter and lock it. Then we're going to put it on top of the A, right click on top of it, and we're going to move it back. We're going to select the whole thing, and we're going to align it, and we're going to center. So I just like to do that one more time, make sure, because I didn't see too much movement there. And it is centered. And then we're going to use our slicing tool, which is the bottom of your layers tab. Slice it. We're going to pull out that one A, pull out the other. We're going to delete, highlight it, press delete on your keyboard. That will take it away and take it away. Since we want to keep all of these together, we're going to make another mat. So when you save this project, it will save as one. So how do you do that? Select everything and you make it the same color. So we're going to change the color and we're going to make it purple. So to make the N, we're going to do exactly the same thing. Click on the T, kind of type out the letter N, make sure that our cap locks are on. Pull the N over. We are going to unlock, change the size again, which is 4 by 4. Press enter. Going to lock it. Grab our shape, which is our square. Pull this over here. Do the same thing, unlock it. So we can make the change. We're going to do 5 by 5 and press enter. And let me just scroll down and we're going to lock. So that is locked. Now we're going to right click on it and we're going to move it backward. So what we're going to do next is we're going to select the N and we are going to align it and we're going to center it. And it has centered perfect. So the next thing we're going to do is highlight again and we're going to use our slicing tool. So we're going to take out that end and take out that end. You can right click on it and click delete, or you can highlight it and press delete on your keyboard. Both works. Now we want to make it the same color as the A, because this will be your second mat. And where do you go to change the color is you just go up here where it says line type cut and you'll see this black. Click on that and we're going to choose the same color pink. And we're done. So far we have thanks, T-H-A-A-N, so we need K-S. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. Click on the text and we're going to type out the letter K. So we're going to pull the K down over here on our canvas. And exactly the same thing, we're going to go back up here and we're going to change the size 4 by 4. And enter and lock. Then we're going to grab our shapes with the square, move it over, unlock, 5 by 5, and lock. Put it over here. We need to right click on it and move backward. Select everything and we're going to align and we're going to center. And then from here, we're going to slice. I'm going to take out that, take out that. You can right click on it and click delete or highlight and press delete on your keyboard. Select, actually we don't have to select everything, we just want to change the color. We're going to change it to another color because only 2 letters fit on the mat. So we're going to click here and we'll make this one red. And we'll keep on going with the rest of the letters. So every 2 letters will have a different color. So black, pink, and red. And I'll just keep on going. So I'm just about ready for the cutting part. I have it set up to go on a few different mats so I can keep this project together. And once you're at this point, you can actually move it around on the cutting mat. So I'm just going to move this up over here, move my H over here. Then I'm going to get my mat ready. So I already cut out a piece of laminate. I'm using the green Cricut mat. I'm just going to place it down there, and it is sticky. And that's a good thing because we don't want it to move around. So I'm just placing it onto the mat here. Then the next, to make sure it's smooth, so when it does cut, there's no bubbles. And I'm going to set it up. And when I put it in the machine, there's two guides here, one here and one here. And from here, I'm going to use the computer and left click on continue. On continue. So right now it's connecting to the machine. It sees that it's the Air 2. And then please wait. Then it says set material. Well, I'm going to use it as a transparency because it is a plastic. So I'm going to click on Browse All Materials. And you'll see artboard, cardstock. Just scroll down. There's fabric. So it's pretty neat, all the things you can cut using your Cricut. There's iron on. There's leather, glitter paper, grocery bag. And the one I want is probably way down the list. I'm going to use transparency. I'm going to click on transparency. You'll see there's a check mark, and now left click done. So no tool required. It's the same one. That's perfect. It's asking me if I want to cancel a cut. No. And now I'm just going to feed it in. It tells you everything is there. And you'll see this flashing arrow. That means it's ready to go. And when you see the flashing C, press the C for cut. And it tells you that it's preparing, and it gives you percentage. And now I'm going to unload the mat by hitting the flashing arrow, and that one is done. To peel it off, you just go from the back here and just start to peel it off. Okay, I'm taking off the part here that's already been cut. I'm going to put this aside. And then from here, you kind of just roll it so it comes off. It's a little easier. And just be gentle. You don't want to tear. I'm going to put it down on the table because it's just easier for me to do that. I'm just going to use this here. Don't know if you can see it. There is my letter T. Probably easier using a white paper, but I don't know if you can see that there. There's the first, there's the T. And you'll notice that the cutout does stay on, so you just have to peel that off. We're not using this, so we'll discard it. And then do the same for the H, just peel it off. Again, just a little bit easier. I might have to put this down on the table just to make sure I don't lose any of my swirls. I don't know if you can see it against the white background. Nope. The green, and there's my H. Now to get ready for the next mat, I just have to peel off the H here, and that piece that I cut, I will put it on, and it's still set up for transparency mode. And I'll grab the sheet of paper here, place it onto the green cutting mat, make sure it lines up, flatten it on, and now you'll see that it's ready to load. So I'm going to put it in using the guidelines here and here, and now you'll see the flashing arrows. Going to push the flashing arrows, and we're ready to cut. And you'll see that this here is highlighted number 2. That means it's going to cut the next 2. I did not reposition the Y for my stencil. So what I did is I canceled the cut. What I did is I just repositioned my plastic on my green mat, and from there I'm going to hide the letter K, so we'll only print out the L. We can hide an object, and this is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to click on the K, and you'll notice these 3 little dots here. Left click on those dots, and we're going to click hide selected, and you'll notice it will go down here. And now I'm going to reposition this on my cutting mat. I've already set up the material on my green mat. We're going to left click on continue. So now it's just waiting, connect to the machine, set the material. So it's asked me to do it again. So we're just going to again browse all material, and you'll know, remember this one is further down the list because we are going to plastic and transparency. Oops, I overshot it. Almost there, plastic and transparency. Once you see the check mark, left click on done and edit tools, and you'll see that the machine is flashing, so we're set properly. You probably won't. I will have to redo that because I did not move it around on my mat. So that's a good thing to do to check, unlike what I did. Always check your mat, and I will do that for the next one. I'm going to go to mat number 3 now because I'm all set. I've already set up my green cutting mat, and I'm not going to make the same mistake that I did there. I am going to just move this around. But again, if there's something that you want to cut, you'll see those 3 dots here. You can hide, go back here, double click, and it brings it back. So we're good. We're set to go with this cut. I've already put the plastic on the mat. We're going to left click on continue, and we'll have to choose it again. Most likely set our material because we are in custom. We're going to browse all material. Scroll down till you see plastic. We're at leather, paper, and plastic and transparency. Left click on that. Once we're done, click done. I'm going to get my mat loaded because the flashing light is set to go. And I'm going to press that. Almost there. And when you see the flashing C, that means we're ready to cut. Now for the last cut is the A and the N. It's already been set to transparency. We don't have to do that right now. We're just going to load the mat. And then we're getting ready to cut the last one. We've loaded the mat. We are going to press C for cut. And our last one for thank you. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to upload a heart image because I think hearts would look really nice on our thank you sign. Now I'm going to show you how to upload an image off of the internet. I am going to Google Chrome. I'm going to maximize this. We're going to go look for images. And I want a heart template for my fence board. So I'm going to look for heart template. And I like this extra large one here. So I'm going to click on that. And now right click and we're going to go save as. And I'm putting it in my picture folder right now. I haven't organized it yet. But for this case, we're just going to call it Heart 3. And left click save. Now we're going to sign in to Design Space. So I'm just going to double click on Design Space because I've been using it already. I'm already in. You'll see welcome Margaret. And my projects, we're going to make this one as a new project. So we'll just click New Project up here. And we're going to upload. So we're going to upload. You'll see I've already done one heart, but I want to make it this particular heart a little smaller. So we're going to upload this image. We're going to browse, and we called it Heart 3, and this is all in alpha order, and there's Heart 3. And we're going to open. And the image is open, that's what we want. We're just going to do a select a simple, because this is going to be just one simple layer, because we are just making a stencil. So I'm going to click on simple and continue. And what we want to do is we want to cut out the heart. So it says select and the erase. So it says click on the area of the image you want to remove. Well, I want to remove the middle of the heart. So we're going to click on continue. And this is how it's going to cut. So we're going to save this as a cut image. And we're going to call it Heart 3 at this point in time, and we're going to click Save. So this is the one we've just done, so we're going to upload this one. So from here, we're going to select an image. This is the one, and we're going to insert it into the canvas. Perfect. So I want to make this one a little smaller. So I'm going to unlock, and I'm going to make the width 3. I'm actually going to do 2 inches, 2 by 2, just to make these cute little hearts. And 2. And press enter. See, it's much smaller. Just because of the size of our board, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to lock this. And I'm going to just make it. So how to make it again is you pull out your, I'm going to use just a scrap piece of the plastic transparency paper that I used last time. So I'm just going to put that on too. My mat. And you know what? I think I'm going to cut 2. So how do you cut 2? Is you just right click on it and we're going to duplicate. So there we go. I'll make 2. Why not? We'll duplicate it again. Make 3. And one more. We're going to duplicate. So we have making 4 small stencils. And from here, we're going to turn on the machine and it's open. And now it's time for me to put this transparency paper onto my green mat. I'm going to click make it. I'm just going to sort it because I have my transparency paper. I only have it going down here. So let's just do this. Lots of room here. So we don't waste any of it. And just arrange it on the mat. And then click continue. Because we're using a different type of paper that's not listed on the dial, we go here, we go to browse all materials, scroll down till you see plastic. And transparency. And done. And that's all there is to it. Once you're done with your project, I recommend to put the description down. Just because when you go back, you might not remember what font, because when you're making a stencil, it doesn't save the name of the font. So what I did in the description, I put out what I used 4 inches by 4 inches letter using this particular font, threaded by a 5-inch by 5-inch square, and I cut with thermal laminating pouches using the transparency cut setting. So if I go back maybe 2 years from now and I want to know how I did it, at least I have an idea what material I used, what font I used. And it also helps too if you put a picture. So I'm just going to put a photo here. And I'm going to go through my photos. Let me just move this over. I will have to organize the photos in here. And there's my thank you sign here, and open. And let's see if I can rotate this. There's the rotate. And there we go. So I have saved this photo of the sign, called it, and then here I put all the information. And now I'm going to click save. And now I'm done with this particular project. I can also share this project if I want on Facebook or Pinterest. At this point in time, I'm just going to leave it. So these are the fence boards we're doing. This is an example of one we did before with the word welcome. Just because we're filming, it's just reversed everything. And this is a 4-foot board, and I just used an old fence board that had a fence that blew down, and we created the vertical welcome sign. What we're doing today is we're doing thank you. So all I did to make it a little bit different is I did spray paint my board, and I did use this product here, Rust-Oleum, and I just used the blue Oasis satin. So what we're going to do next is we're going to tape down the stencil that we've just created, the thank you. Some people use a spray adhesive so it sticks to the surface. I don't have any of that, so I'll be using some painter's tape. Next part is laying out your stencil onto your board. And what I recommend to do is place it and then stand up and take a look on if you need to do any readjusting. Once you're happy with the placement of the letters, then I would recommend to tape them down. And you can place these letters any way you'd like. Sometimes people like to put things on an angle so it looks like this. Some people like straight up and down. It's up to you on how you would like to do your stencil. There's no right way and there is no wrong way. Now that I've laid them out on the board, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start taping. So I have my tape and I'm just going to put it across just so when I'm starting to do my stenciling technique, it doesn't move around too much. So this can take a little bit of time, just putting the tape on your stencils so they don't move. Again, if you have spray adhesive, you can spray at the back of them so they're a little bit tacky. And you just continue all the way down. All taped on. What I recommend to do now is to stand it up against the wall and just to make sure that you like the placement of your letters. And if you're happy, it's ready to get painted. So when you're stenciling, the whole idea is to build up the layers of paint. So it's a dab, dab, dab motion. So I'm just going to put some paint onto a margarine lid, and put some onto this. So what you do is you coat, because the whole idea about stenciling is that you can always go back and put more on, but once there's too much on, it's hard to take off. So I'm just going to just dab around. And when you get to your board, what I like to recommend you is hold down your stencil. And usually if you're starting off, I like to use the thicker part here with the thank you and start off there and wait to do the curly cues last. You can hear it's a dab, dab, dab. And I just hold it down. You will probably get paint all over your fingers. That's okay. It isn't crafting until you get messy. As you can see, I'm starting to run out. Just going to hold that down with my fingers. And it looks like most of it's there. I'm going to go back, hold that down. I'm going to put just a little bit. Again, try and get some of the excess off of your brush. Again, less is more. Hold it down. And this. And just keep on going. Same thing, hold it down. I put some more paint on my brush. I'm going to start off with a thicker part, for example, the thanks. And you can hear the dab, dab, dab. The whole idea is less is more. Put a little bit more on and just keep going. You can see my stencil has raised up as long as I keep some pressure on either side. I'm going to go on to the A. I do this on the kitchen floor because it's a 4-foot board, it takes up a lot of room. bit more paint on my, whoops, there we go. Just kind of knock off the excess. If you first start out, I recommend to go to a thicker area again and kind of pound not so hard. And then keep going. Oops, I did move my stencil. I may have messed up the A. You can always tape down these parts as well. Finding with the plastic, it moves a little bit more than the cardboard. A lot more. Yep, I'm moving the O. I suggested taping down the O. And my hands are getting a little sticky, so from the paint. Okay. Now it's to see a moment of truth because I've never used this material before to make stencils, so hopefully it will work. To see how much bleeding did come through. Sometimes it can if it's too thin a material. There's a little bit of bleeding, but that's okay. I'm going to show you a trick on how to fix this. And I taped it very well. I'm just going to slowly pull this up here without ripping, and then we're going to reuse this stencil. I'm going to show you how to clean this. I'm going to move this to one side. Just take that off here. I'm just worried about the O, and the floor will clean. And it's good to not let your stencil sit very long in case there is some bleeding. See, the Y had a little bit too much. I'm worried about the O. The O's not too bad, actually. And the last one is the U. So, that is the thank you sign. There is a little bit of bleeding. I'm just going to let that dry. And I will show you how to fix that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some red hearts on here. So this is my thank you sign. And all I've done is taken off the tape, and I can reuse these again. It's not too bad, the paint has not built up on them. So now I want to put a heart. So I'm going to put a heart in the middle and maybe one at the top and one at the end. So basically it's the same thing, just position where you want the heart. I want mine in between the K and the U, and I think about there. And you can tape this down as well so it doesn't move so much. And I think I'll put a heart at the top and maybe a heart somewhere else. What I might do is I might cut another stencil of a smaller heart, but we'll see. And that's all there is to it. Put a little bit of paint, same thing. The whole idea is to put less is more. This paint is a little more watery than the black, so we'll have to maybe just build it up to make sure it doesn't bleed so much. And it's the same thing. Again, just up here. Let that dry. Put a little bit more. A little bit more in the center. Again, it's just a dab in motion. Okay, put that over here, just gonna pull that up. And there's my heart. And I think I'm gonna put a heart at the top too. So I don't want this to bleed through. So this is what I would do is grab a paper towel and just wipe the back before I put it onto the board. As you can see, I'm a little crazy with the hearts with my thank you. There is a Facebook site called Hearts for Healthcare Workers and Essential Workers, so I thought I'd put a lot more hearts on this one. And you can also use these fence boards to make welcome signs, Christmas, let it snow. They're very versatile. So, I hope you've enjoyed how to make a vertical sign using the Cricut.